You might have the idea for a podcast, but you might be thinking that, oh, I see all of these people with huge setups and all of that. But you don't need all of that. You can just start with whatever you have. We're working with someone who literally just uses their phone to record audio. Doesn't matter. But I thought we could delve a little bit more into that in terms of like practical tips on what people can actually do, regardless of what the setup is, regardless of what equipment they have. What are things that they can do when they're recording or before they're recording to get good audio?
It's great if you have it. If you have a well treated room, if you have really good mics, if you have really good cameras, etc., all of this definitely just makes your quality supreme. But if you don't have that as well, you can still do all of these things. But there are some things that you can control. Like, let's take an example of if a person who's just starting out has a small audio interface, for example, and he has a small mic. Few things that he should definitely consider is the levels that he records at. Basically, every audio interface will show you some sort of a signal that are you recording too high levels or are you recording too low levels. If you're going too hot, lights become red in color. So those are your indications that please turn it down. Your input gain is too much. So these are small things, because if you don't turn it down and if you keep talking in that same way and if it's continuously blinking red lights, that means you're continuously clipping, and that's going to add distortion into the whole audio. And when I'm going to listen back to it, anybody who's going to listen back to it is going to have a very uncomfortable situation. It's going to be like, come on, I mean, I'll definitely hear something else instead of this. I can't, it's garbage. I don't want garbage. Just turn down that input levels. Keep it in such a way that even when you're going like really loud, you're not hitting that red lights. Keep it under that and you're safe. Like, if you don't have an audio interface, like let's say you're recording directly into your laptop microphone, so there what you can do is you can go to your sound settings and you'll always have that input microphone setting always, and you'll always see one meter down there. When you're speaking, it'll keep moving, and if you notice that if it's continuously going to the red, you're in the danger zone. So you need to pull down your input level and make sure that's recording healthy levels. That will give the person who's working on it also enough and more control to shape the sound and make it as good as it can, optimize it in the best way possible.
This is one of those times where being too hot is not desirable.
Yes. Being too cold is also not desirable. Be in the green zone. If you make green, max to max is that yellow orange zone. Never go to the red zone. Don't go like too low in the green also. So that is one thing that you can definitely keep in mind. Then another thing that you can definitely look at is your environment. When people record podcasts, so there are multiple cases that we have encountered where, let's say, our guest or the host, one of them, they are traveling, let's say, and they don't have their usual setup. They have their laptop, that's all. So if your noise is louder than your voice, even if you take it to post production, there's very limited things that you can do. Even when you try cleaning up stuff there, you're going to lose voice. Definitely, your best bet is to reschedule. Now, this will be like a bonus tip if you don't have that option of rescheduling your timings, and this is the only timing that you're going to get. At least, like, make sure that you are as close to the microphone as possible so that your voice is being caught more than the noise. We can probably have the noise underneath a little bit. We might not be able to completely take it out, but still, we will not lose the voice, because that is something that happens if you have too much noise, and we use all these denoising tools, etc. And that just takes away all the things that the person is saying. And then again, like how my first point was, your entire process is being defeated. You're saying something serious, which is going to be helping somebody else, but there's nothing. There's just noise. But the least that it is there, the more happier that I'd be. The more voice that I get, the more signal that I get than the noise. That is any day desirable and any day easier to work with also.
Which is also why earphones and headphones work well, because you have inbuilt mics. Might not be the best quality. You don't need a amazing mic,